Good afternoon.
Big Boys, Big Ideas, episode 2. Let's go.
Back in your ears. This is your boy Joe.
This is your boy, DJ Phillip, coming at you with these smooth beats.
DJ Shmoo in the house.
Smooth beats and nice feels to get you on your way to work in the morning.
Turning it up and down.
And down.
Because dials have multiple directions.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we will. We'll get into that.
But yeah.
I was thinking about directions earlier, and I wanted to mention it today, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
Also, we must get to the point where audience members that we have a large enough that I can just name any random name, and that someone will be doing that thing. So I can just say like Scott, like stop flying the airplane, just let go, and just walk out of the cabin.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
or just like Philip. Okay, well that's your name. Those are really bad.
Right.
Random,
well, there's probably someone else out there. There's probably going to be someone else out there with Phil.
Let's go for a really just like a random name. Just like a really just like, what's the most random name?
Abernathy.
Abernathy. Yeah, that's probably a couple just first name
Abernathy's
only walking
one.
Around. Yeah. So just want to say just like Abernathy, or like let's just go someone completely random like Brett.
Yeah.
Just say Brett Abernathy Kavanaugh, and then just like, hey, don't walk in there. Don't walk in the street right now.
Hey, Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court judge, please, I know you're listening to this podcast, and I know you're about to walk into traffic. You're going to get hit by a bus. Stop moving right now.
You had such a bright career ahead of you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
he
not
still does.
immediately...
He still does. He's making it, dude.
Hey, we're a minute 30 in. Let's not. We went really close to something.
We can table that one.
We'll table that for further vote later on.
Yeah.
We want to start out this episode with these wonderful interview questions, which we featured last time. We're gonna keep this a staple of the show. We're gonna kick one immediately. So we're gonna resume back where we were.
Do you remember which one we left off on?
Oh yeah, we left off. The last one was about finishing the interview and finding a lottery ticket just outside.
Right.
It was $10 million.
Oh, I love that one.
And so this one, we're another number 4 right now. And number 4 says, "What do you think about when you're alone in your car?"
What do I think about when I'm alone in my car?
Yes. So remember in the context that these are supposed to be fun interview questions that are enjoyable to answer.
Well, I would say that the best answer to this question, because for me, all these questions, the first thing I think is optics, right? What can I say to get the job? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say the thing I think about, sir, when I'm in the car, I'm assuming it's a guy interviewing me, right? Because if it's not, the answers change completely. Because obviously I take into account the Machiavellian power dynamics at play. Anyway, so my answer is going to be, well, sir, I think about what's the most efficient route I can take from the parking garage to my office to get to work as fast as possible.
See, mine would be like, I think back to the last experience I just had. So I'd be like, oh, I was prepping for this interview, sir. I was alone in my car after driving here, and I was just thinking about like, how can I impress this company? How can I show my, value to them?
Yeah.
How can I be the best little worker bee that I possibly could for you, dear boss?
But if, sir, you mean by what I think about when I'm alone in my car, you mean what I think about when I park at home and I'm in my garage and I'm faced with the existential dread of being a wage slave, I can't tell you, sir, because I just think about how much I long for the embrace of the void that I was
oblivion
I was taken from when I was born. So
well, if we want to talk about real answers, let's talk about why this is a terrible question. First of all, I think we took it a little too seriously at first, and gave them the answers that they wanted, which I don't owe Fast Company anything like that. This publication. So like, it's a terrible question because one, that's anything, right? It might as well be the question. What do you think about when you're alone ever? Like in your house, in a car, but what do you think about when you're alone with your thoughts?
Yeah.
How multivaried and like terrible of a question. Like that's got to be the question with the worst ratio of like what they want to hear and like what you actually think about.
Yes.
Right? Like there's a billion options, and the majority of them you cannot tell this person in your interview.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Even if it's something innocuous, just like I just really don't understand why there's ketchup and there's also catsup. Like this just really bothers me.
It's
even if it's something inane like that.
Well, because if you say something inane, they're gonna be like, okay, well, this guy's just because these questions, they're gonna be like, okay, let's move on to the next question. That doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what they want. They want you to slip up and say, oh, I think about my divorce and how like I'm constantly racked with my maybe inabilities to to accomplish anything in life, and like what do they want you to say? They want you to break down in front of them, like
Yeah, or they want you to. I mean, what's a sort of consumer corporate friendly answer that you could give when you're alone with your thoughts in the car? Just like, I'm jamming out to my pop pop rock.
I think about how good my session's going to be with my counselor today on BetterHelp.com. That's right. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, this episode is sponsored by BetterHealth.com.
Absolutely, it is absolutely
get better health
not.
by giving us money.
It is absolutely not sponsored by them, and it never will be.
Philip and I were talking about sponsorships in YouTube videos and podcasts and all these sort of generic things. So can you, dear listener, like name us with a billion of the ones that I'm sure you've heard of before?
Yeah.
If you're anywhere near these people, yeah. Better Shave Club. No,
better Shave Club. Hell, man, it could be called that. It's
because they always say like get a better shave. Okay, Dollar Shave Club, and then
what is it?
Let's go.
There's like Loot Box. That was there for a while. Yes, right? The mattresses. What are those watches called? The watches.
There's a company called like
Movement
yes,
watches.
Those ones. Blue Apron.
Blue Apron's a huge
Fresh.
one. HelloFresh.
Bunch of subscriptions. I mean, that's what they all are, really.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, and they're always like, because these companies know the kind, like, that a lot of the people that watch YouTube, one, are younger, right? Mm-hmm. And two, they know that, like, that they know that these kinds of endorsements work the same way that any kinds of endorsements work. When you hear someone that you trust or that you like their content, you're more likely to buy the thing if they tell you to, than if you just see some ad.
If I hear my funny YouTube friend wax philosophical about a freaking Squarespace ad, just about like
Squarespace is a huge one.
They're like the biggest,
right?
About their minimalist design, just like it's so easy to make.
And some of these companies may very well have good products, but my problem with this new one I keep saying, which is Betterhelp.com, is they tout themselves as being a place where you can get like quote unquote professional. That's the line I hear a lot of YouTubers saying.
You can get professional counseling.
Professional
right?
counseling. But if you read their terms and conditions, they tell you outright in bold, or sorry, in caps. They tell you we are not required, and that you acknowledge that we are not required to maintain the quality of our counselors in quotes.
They just say they're not responsible for the quality.
And in the first line, they define what they mean by counselor in the rest of the terms and conditions. And literally in there, they write coaches, advisors, and any other person. Yeah. So you literally don't need any kind of qualification to teach there. I mean, obviously, I assume if you have too many complaints, they'll just kick you off. But that would be, they're not going to kick you off because you're not qualified. They're going to kick you off because you're not making them or you're making them negative money, like with Uber, right? They're not going to kick you out of Uber. They probably wouldn't even kick you out of Uber if you don't have a license.
Yeah.
They'd probably kick you out. If you were able to drive that many people and you never got pulled over and you never got your license checked, I think Uber would not care. Because as long as you're making them the money.
Yeah. It's just so funny, the absolute gall they have with the statements that just say, like, they are not employers, and even if they were, in any sense, they're contractors or whatever, they reflect nothing about our service. Yes. So you cannot sue us about anything that they do or say, even while serving us, the company. Which is just same thing for the Uber. It'd be just like they deny all legal liability for the service they provide. And deny that the person is just even remotely related to them.
It's interesting that that's like what companies are doing now, is like that's the way, like nowadays companies are really invested in trying to to deflect as much of like their possible criticism that you could get, or as much like potential problems that they could get, especially with these new like the like Uber and the scooter companies and all of these like kind of like shared things that like you pay and you like, I don't know, this new type of economy that's coming out where the product that you used to buy, like transportation, right, or some kind of thing that you used to buy is now it's now, I don't know, millennialified. It's like it's
Wait, how do you mean millennialified?
Well, it's easier to get the access. Like instead of having to go to a therapist, right now, the idea is you can just do it at your home off your laptop, right?
Oh, so you mean like convenience, right?
Right. It's based around convenience, and it's for the company. It's based around like, one is their business model is much more efficient, and two, there's much less risk for them.
Yeah.
Right. At least like before, if you wanted to start like I don't know, a business where you had counselors and stuff, the reason why you have to look up their credentials and stuff is because these people are going to be in your office, assuming you have to build an office space, you have to do all this stuff, you have to make something where these counselors are going to come in, they have to display their credentials, right? But now if you can just, find someone online and he's got a 5-star rating and you talk to him for 10 minutes or whatever, like, I don't know, it's just...
There's sort of the basic thing of you lose a lot when it's not...
Like,
when
before,
it's not face-to-face,
before companies had, like, risk, you know what I mean? And now they're trying their best to, like, remove as much of their risk as possible with these new, like, kind of
models,
like with this new model that they're doing, which I mean it makes sense, right? Obviously they want to get rid of as much risk as possible, but it's just, it feels like unfair to me. You know?
Because at a certain point, eluding risk is risk of the law, right? Being held legally responsible for their actions. And in most cases, more corporations should be held more responsible for their actions. Because they have social, moral, and legal responsibility to like many different actors.
Yeah, exactly. And at least like before, it seemed like the risk of bankruptcy, because all of this stuff was physical, and you had to build the infrastructure before you could actually have the business, was more tangible. And it was more like there was a higher chance that you could fail and that everything's going to fall apart. But now that you have like these, oh, well, Uber, like, and Uber's everywhere, right? But they don't have to have an office in every city they operate in. They could, like, the scooter people. I doubt there's, I doubt there's even, like, there's probably cities where there's, like, I just say scooter people because there's, like, 4 different scooter companies or whatever. I even saw, like, the Razor scooters. Like, like, those old Razor scooters that weren't electric powered? Yeah. Now the same company, Razor, makes the electric ones, and you can rent those too. That's so weird. But anyway.
What you were saying about like for example, like Bird, is one of the brands, right? Electric scooters here, and like so if there's like literally not a physical person, like here or an office or anything, but you can just use a team of contractors and other companies to move your merchandise and like manage it.
Yes, absolutely.
The
people who recharge. You can get paid to recharge. I've seen that this is the business model with some of them. Yeah, is that you can get paid to go around recharging them, and that's like the Uber aspect. So like the people who use them obviously pay to use them, and then they can pay people to they pay them like a pittance because they're allowed to now apparently because they're contractors, which just means that they can they don't have any obligation to you at all
because we pay you.
Because
we don't provide healthcare.
you work on your own. You work for your own wages. It's like being a salesperson, except it's not at all.
Yeah, we've read so much about like the gig economy and the new transformational changes that happen because of technology and because of where we're at in capitalism, and given globalization and the IT revolution, so much different stuff. Just the change of contractors and like full-time employees. Like every person should be considered a contractor. Like you're contracting, like not even your time, right? Time's such a new concept. Like you're contracting your effort, your work, and your skill, right, towards a thing. You are paid for the end result, the conclusion of your labor. Right?
Exactly.
You shouldn't be paid even for your time. Really, is not the best measurement of it.
You should be paid. You should be paid for your work, your labor.
And especially not as like, no, you work for us, so like we own you. You get your health insurance through us. You spend all your waking hours, 8 to 5, regardless of like how much you actually produce. It's just not an effective model for like the employer, or I even think the
the reason, they paint it, obviously their take on their like spin on it is like, oh no, you're working for yourself. You're your own boss. You get to pick your own hours. You get to pick your own right. It's like but involved in that is that you end up not being able to pick your own hours, right? If you work for Uber, you have to work during the hours that there's surge charging and like during the hours that make the most money for you. So you don't actually get to pick your own hours.
But in that case, to defend Uber, then that's entirely determined by like the market, consumer demand.
Yeah, but then your hours are just determined by the market anyway. So it's not like, I guess this idea of like you get to pick your own hours, right? You do, but you're just not gonna just not gonna make as much money. And if your goal is to make enough money to pay rent or whatever, then you don't get to pick your own hours. You have to pick the hours that are going to make you money.
Right. But then there would be like, well, if you do want to make like you don't want to work during peak terrible hours, you can if you want to Uber on the side from like 10 to 2 p.m. because you're available then you can do that if you're a parent or whatever other obligations.
But returning to the scooters thing, what happens is, since people can get paid to recharge these scooters, there's no limit on like how many you can be charging at the same time. Mm-hmm. So in Venice Beach, you see like pictures of people who ride convertibles, and their entire convertible, hood and all, is stacked with like 100 of these things. So like people, they'll go down Venice Beach and they'll just pick up like 100 of them, and he's in his convertible, and there's just like, he has 30 of these things stacked in his
convertible
car.
Like sports car,
like he has scooters on his car, on the hood of his car.
On the hood?
Well, on the hood, on the back, and he puts them on top of each other in a way that they're like all holding each other.
Okay.
But it's like extremely dangerous because he's just driving on the road with all these unsecured things, and he's charging all of them from his like car battery or whatever. And like,
so he's acting as like a third party like shop, like to
right.
Like,
but he's like charging like 30 of these things at the same time. And then obviously the police pull him over and they're like, dude, you have like a scooter in front of your window. Like you can't be driving around doing this. But then what are they going to do with the scooters? He doesn't own the scooters. They're not his. They can't confiscate them or move them or anything. They belong to a third party company. But there's
just dump them on the sidewalk.
But there's no office to go to. Yeah. So they're allowed to just dump these scooters, and then they make money off of them, and then they're just around, and then people like vandalize them and destroy them, but they don't care. Making a scooter like that, it costs them probably like $300 to make one of those scooters, maybe probably less. I don't know, but
I don't know. I've seen that their margins may be pretty slim.
Right. Well, that's why I was saying that I think they're actually making the majority of their money from selling data. They're not making their money from.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because like actually riding one of those scooters, like when you check the prices on your phone, at least from what I've seen, they're not that expensive, right? It's actually pretty cheap, especially to get around somewhere where there's a lot of traffic. It's very cheap. But that's why because obviously you have to have your GPS on, so I know they're stealing not stealing. I agree to it in the 50-page contract. I signed to ride a scooter
because I read the terms and conditions. Yeah. We definitely do.
I read all 50. Upset. Yeah, when I'm in a rush and I need to get to class and I'm on my phone and I'm like, I need to ride this scooter. I got to read these 50 pages first and make sure they're not harvesting my geodata.
Like, no, I skip class.
They're absolutely taking my geodata and they're absolutely selling it to anyone that will buy it to know where I go, I guess. Right. But I mean, that is valuable information, and it is
in aggregate to know people from these age range, whatever this demographic,
absolutely
prefers this type of transportation. Yeah. This is where we need a new fries store.
I mean, data like that for advertising is extremely valuable, especially these days, just because of the amount of data that they collect, the validity of that data. Like, it's coming straight from my phone, right? So it's very accurate data. Knowing where I move, like physically where I move, that's extremely valuable, right? Like advertising wise.
Yeah.
And all of that is, I'm giving it away willingly, so it's not illegal, right? And especially with the technology nowadays that allows the information processing technology that they're making nowadays, it's even easier to process that data and aggregate it and learn about it rather than having just people sift through what individuals are doing, right?
Through a bunch of surveys.
Right, yeah. So selling data, I think, is where a lot of these companies are making their money from. Uber probably also sells your data too, I would imagine. I wouldn't know. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm sure it depends on what type of data, but I'm sure at least they collect it like an extraordinary amount, as much as they can. Which, I mean, they would need to change all their algorithms for when cars are best available, who they need, and to serve what sectors of their,
Which is why, where we started, we'll get to the second interview question. But,
okay, yeah.
Where we started with this was, the reason I mentioned the Betterhelp was, with other things, like with shaving and with buying a new watch, I'm okay with the endorsement and I'm okay with the, kind of fakiness of it and all that stuff, because
especially ones that are Audible and ebooks. There's a lot of those. I'm well.
That's fine. That's just a luxury. It's a product. But mental health is a very important thing. It's not a luxury, right?
Yeah.
And so when you advertise something like that, you have to be very careful about what you're actually advertising to people. And if you say professional help, I know that that's the line that they're being fed by the company, right? And I know that some of them might have tried the free trial and maybe had a great experience with someone who probably maybe actually was accredited.
It could be certainly valuable,
right? Yeah, but
the commodification is worrying.
The commodification is worrying, and the fact that it's being endorsed by someone who these YouTubers obviously don't have degrees in any of this stuff, and they're not accredited, so they don't.
Right, they're not reviewing this is the best counselor service of the study I did.
Yeah, to what extent do they actually know how credible these people are? Because most of them don't seem to. If they actually read these terms of service, I'm sure that they wouldn't feel as confident with advertising the service.
I don't know if that changed their behavior to like not use the advertiser. Though.
It's just weird to me that it's the commodification that scares me. That like that mental health is just this thing you can go online and Skype with some random person about. Right. Like it's a very serious thing. It's as serious as physical health.
So because it's already like a service in that way that's a little bit foreign and like technified, where it's like there's a emotional and physical distance between you and your counselor. Yeah. That's already a little bit worrying. But then to have it be like, oh, we're evading an amount of legal and personal responsibility gives even more of a sour taste in your mouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the main thing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot to do with the
ethics and
responsibility of corporations in America, and broadly otherwise. But let's take all right. So around the middle of the episode, let's hit this other. This is number 5 on this list of interview questions.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me kick it off again. This is from Glassdoor. What's your favorite '90s jam?
Oh my
God. Personally, I'm a fan of Boysenberry.
Oh my God, your favorite '90s jam?
You know Strawberry. What? I love Strawberry.
I think I would be the guy that like says. I think I would just say an '80s jam instead. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
An '80s jam.
Yeah, I wouldn't even care either. Like they'd be like, I think that's from the '80s.
You're like Duran Duran.
Yeah.
You'd be like, they were technically in the '90s.
I'd be like Duran Duran. Yeah, that would be my. I'd be like, they're like, really? I'd be like, also, I enjoy listening to it. I don't actually like listening to it like personally. I prefer listening to it in a mall. Like I prefer going to an empty mall at like right when it opens. There's no one there, and I enjoy hearing Duran Duran in the background through like the echoing mall.
Well, see, you make fun of that, but like I have a playlist that's full of the empty mall synthwave thing about like giving this ambiance and this aesthetic of
walking through
this old '90s
like
consumerism experience.
There's also a series on YouTube I just want to plug really quickly.
By Dan Bell. Right?
I'm not paid by Dan Bell to say this, but Dan Bell has a great series where he just walks through empty malls, and he always just captures like that. Because obviously they're playing the music in the background, and he's just walking through and he captures that like empty mall aesthetic.
His abandoned mall series. I mean, he has a bunch of abandoned places, but the sort of dystopic feels, like the sense of nostalgia he evokes with the quiet music.
I love those, dude. I love just like going full screen on those.
Me too.
I love that he like puts the camera. He's not like filming himself. He's just filming like it's
his chest. Yeah,
it's like I'm there. It's like I'm there. You know.
And it's this great POV experience of exploring like old locations.
No, that series is awesome.
Yeah. Seeing like faded menus and like broken at any point like something you feel like something could jump out.
The best parts are like when he sees like the little restaurant like kiosks that are like empty and the lights are off, and so it's like the lights are on in this place, and then you just have like this normal well lit common area, and then just like these eerie like dark corners. You know what I mean? And it's oh man, it's just so cool. I love that.
I saw he was in one with an abandoned theater, and like the seats are all torn up and everything and out of there. So it's just this big weird angled room, right? And there's just like it had clearly been destroyed for a while, and people had been through out there, just like partying and rioting, and there's just like huge piles of trash in the corner. Yeah. And so you could see like graffiti over everything. There's like big anarchist symbols, and just like this is a total like sound stage for whatever rioting dystopic movie about punk. I just got such a like cyberpunk vibe from the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's such a cool aesthetic that evokes such a profound nostalgia for like 2005, for like 1998.
Right.
Like these different times where these malls were like the American thing.
No, absolutely though. If they ask me what is your favorite '90s jam, I'm immediately before he even finishes the question, I go, it smells like Teen Spirit.
See, I'd give a Weird Al song. I'd be like smells like Nirvana.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. Or I'd be like, or I'd do like the gentrified white guy thing and be like, oh well, I mean, of course it's got to be California Love by my favorite 2-pack.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, what was that one about the man, the singer songwriter disregarding the police officers?
Yeah,
the one
I love that one. That's my favorite one. Yes.
I prefer the heavy metals, the rip rap. The rip rap.
I enjoy those. Yes.
The one that they disregard authority.
I enjoy the ones where they refer to themselves as gangstas. Those are the best. I love those.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty awkward interview. I can see that going down.
No, but absolutely just Nirvana. I would say that. And then just like in my business suit, they look at me and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're doing that interview in Seattle, everyone would go, yeah, okay.
I bet any interviewer in Seattle has this as a default question. Like,
actually, they expect you to say. They expect you to say Nirvana. If you don't say, they're like, "Are you? Oh, Duran Duran? Are you sure you don't like Nirvana?
Pearl Jam? Get out of here."
Yeah. You say, yeah, exactly, yes, yeah. You say, Stone Temple Pilots, and they go, "You're next."
Stone Temple out of here.
Exactly. Get out of my goddamn office, you son of a bitch.
Okay, all right. So let's dissect why this is a terrible question, right? This is a facile attempt to establish some sort of cultural baseline, right, with the person interviewing. Like, did the 1990s not happen in other countries, right? Like, can we not for a moment pretend that we don't have like a monoculture, in like this country from like corporate America? Can we pretend like there weren't other songs that you may not have heard of during the 90s, and just that like you may not have the same cultural baseline for music, but that's okay? Mm-hmm.
I mean, the question is very unspecific. What's your favorite 90s jam? Do you want a song? Do you want a band?
Do you want a freaking mason jar full of boysenberry?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's your favorite 90s jam? Well, I think they had Strawberry in the 80s, but it's still my favorite. So
but that was so long ago, and I was born after 9/11, so who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, after 9/11,
everything changed.
Strawberry changed, They used to use cane sugar, and after 9/11, I think the terrorists succeeded, but where they really succeeded was changing the sugar and jam to high fructose corn syrup. That was the real act of terrorism.
That's killed far more. So you want to talk about
you want to talk about the real the real tragedy of the early 2000s? High fructose corn syrup. You can't find a bottle of Smucker's now that uses real sugar. It's all high fructose corn syrup. I don't want to. I digress. But
this proud country. Let's get into 9/11.
Yeah, the real problem with this question is it's just uselessly subjective. Why? Right. What's the point of answering this question? How is this going to help you hire me?
It's such a immediate, shallow attempt to try to get something going between you. Like you have nothing else. You have no common thing you can talk about with work or just being another person. So you need this little icebreaker comment about 90s music, which is just so specific and general at the same time that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like that question.
It utterly means nothing.
You got the next one?
All right. We're gonna save that one for the end of the episode.
Right, the end of the episode. Right.
So
okay.
we can transition to a new topic. I believe. Let's take into let's go.
Oh, into, the directions.
Let's go into
directions.
Let's go into paper cut corner with Philip, where one of the things bothering him.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's a good name for it. Yeah. So this is I
stole it.
I don't actually get paper cuts because I'm like a total alpha male, so I don't get cut. My skin doesn't ever break by anything. Yeah, I don't bleed.
I'm such an alpha male that I have scars all over my body.
Yeah. So I have my entire body is one big scar, and so I can't actually get. I look like a giant scar. That's why my skin looks like.
Well, that's because you crave oblivion so much. You wish to be cut out of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am. We all are just scars on this scar of a world.
We're all cut up from when we were born.
But exactly. Yeah. Life is just a scar in the timeline
Please,
of the void.
for the love of God, tell the people what this subject.
Anyway, so I was thinking, I was texting one of my friends earlier, and one.
Sick, dude.
And exactly. I have friends. I know that's pretty sick. I just needed to flex that. I don't
remember that text.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I needed to flex that on our viewers that are on our watchers or whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah.
That I have friends.
Take that risk,
I was texting my friend, and I was like, I was thinking about how we express agreement with things, and I said, I'm down. Right, he was like, "You want to go out later?" I said, "I'm down." Right.
Hell yeah.
So I was thinking, if I'm down means, yes, I am ready to do that thing that we wanted to do. Right. Mm-hmm. I want to do that thing. I am expressing my agreement. I was thinking, but I can't say the opposite by using the opposite direction, because if I say I'm up for that also expresses agreement. Yeah. So two opposite directions used in the language express the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. You can't use left and right?
I'm left for that.
Yeah, that would be stupid. They'd be like, "What are you I don't need to know about your political affiliation, Philip. That doesn't affect. Are we getting drinks
Even
later or
though
not?
directions for that also don't make sense and don't work. But that's
exactly.
that's another episode.
That's another episode. Yeah. But the altitude directions don't really help, right? Because they both express the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, why do we use why does that work that way? Why is both up and down an expression of agreement?
Do you know why?
Why?
I think down as in like I'm down as in like I'm going to write down something as in like I'm going to put myself as down like in my calendar, like something like that.
Right.
And then up is something like geographic, meaning like are you up for that? Meaning like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get up like off the couch, or I'm gonna get up and go up the hill to like into town, that sort of thing.
So they're set. So they came from separate. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
They'd have to come from separate. I think it's something like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm less paper cut about it now. I'm less offended.
So that was okay.
So there you go. We solved it. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with that now. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Also, what is it? Also, like downhill. So when you talk about like a downhill battle, that's like it's
uphill battle and then going downhill.
Oh.
I've never heard of a downhill.
Oh yeah,
battle.
Sorry. An uphill battle is a battle that's very difficult.
Yes.
And then if something is going downhill,
it's just
it's failing. It's losing. Failing. Yeah. And so they're both negative. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, both directions.
Yeah.
And of going uphill and going downhill, and so even though they're different directions, they both express negativity. They both express failing in some way.
So that like up and down were both positive if you're up or down. But if anything, but the only difference between those in downhill and uphill is the addition of the hill.
Yeah.
So I think we just hate changes in altitude when traveling.
I think we just don't like that. We don't really like moving. We don't really like difficulty at all.
We have this deep-seated linguistic untrust of like difficulties in moving.
We just want to stay like once we were born at above sea level, we want to stay exactly that way forever. Yeah. We don't enjoy going down or up in altitude at all. We want to. I'm at 600 feet. I'm staying there forever.
Yeah, because even though downhill is easier than up, it's like you got to do both if you're going over a hill. So just a hill's just a pain in the butt if you find it.
Exactly.
So we hate sort of changes in just lateral geometry is terrible. So we should just that's the source of all our
absolutely. That was my little segment on directions. Sense. I didn't have much more past that. I was
wasn't anything else.
It
didn't bug you that much.
I don't know. It was just a philosophical thought I had. You know, that's the way it works.
You just said you were down for something. You're just like, you know what pisses me off?
Yeah, is saying down.
Linguistic uncertainty.
Yeah, exactly. You know what pisses me off is the English language.
Yeah. I hate how there's pork and also pig.
Yeah.
Frickin' French and German roots from the frickin' classism in Old English.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
No, I didn't.
You haven't heard that before?
Well, I mean, I know that you call pig meat pork.
Yeah, and there's beef, right? And cow and cattle.
Right, cattle.
And there's sheep and mutton.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And there's
that was veal. I thought sheep was veal. Or is that lamb?
Lamb
is veal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just baby mutton, I guess.
Right. Okay.
I'm pretty sure mutton is sheep.
Mutton is, yeah.
I'm sure you'll let me know if I'm wrong, dear listener.
Yeah.
And then what's the other thing of chicken? Poultry.
Well, chicken is just chicken. I've never called
poultry. It's poultry. That's
bird.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
I read something a long time ago, and you can let me know if this is false. I'm pretty sure that it was because of classism in old countries that were speaking Old English at the turn of the 1500s or something. In Germanic areas in Central Europe, where they had the upper classes were primarily like French. And the lower classes were primarily Germanic. I think is the distinction.
Right.
And so the upper classes got their words for the meat because they only ever saw the meat.
Oh,
okay. The lower classes saw them as the animals they were because they butchered and raised them.
Actually, that's
right. So that's why they have different. So the ones that were more Frenchy or whatever gave them different words for just and slowly began in English to mean just the actual foodstuffs.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And so now we can get upset about social class and everything and how that sort of ruins language and get all Orwellian about it. So
well, I mean, it's gonna, it's gonna end soon. So once the AIs take over,
it's gonna end.
Once the AIs take over, yeah. I mean, human society is gonna change completely. So
Okay.
They're gonna. Well, I mean, I could go on about this for hours, but. I'm sure. I don't want to spoil my position on the future in episode 2.
No, I have here down for episode 12, eschatology, an apocalyptic scenario.
Yes,
so we'll put that down.
Well, I'm going to tease out my views about transhumanism slowly, piece by piece.
You'll
have to once we get a Wikipedia thing going, like Big Boys Big Ideas
wiki. We
gotta
get a full wiki.
The Big Boys wiki. The Big Boys wiki. That's great.
Name.
I feel like that could be really bad.
Name.
But
no doubt in our minds.
It's gonna be like on my character page, Philip, right? It's gonna be like, what are his views? Here's what we know so far, like piece by piece. In episode 4, Philip said this about transhumanism. In episode 2, right? So slowly
you'll be analyzed like a serial killer.
Slowly you'll piece them together, and then once we're on like Good Morning America, I'll say something that completely throws it all. Like, oh no, he said this, like this. Okay, that doesn't make sense. In episode 8, he said this. How do we like square these two things away? And then they're gonna be like, there's gonna be like different on the subreddit. There's gonna be like 2 teams. There's gonna be like, is Philip this or is Philip this? Like I'm team this. I'm team this. And then on my TED talk in 2020 when I have my TED talk, 2020 paradigm shift. I'm gonna have my TED talk and I'm gonna say
so soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, look, here's what I'm gonna give my views there, and it's gonna completely throw everything else out of the water, right? Because I've been just leading everyone on this whole time.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, that's also going to be the ruse, because I'm going to be giving that TED Talk to the UN, and so all the world's leaders are going to be there, and they're going to be distracted, and that's when the AIs are going to take over, is during that talk. That's when they're going to take the entire, DEFCON 1,
So I just have one question.
Yeah.
And that, your default, your example of legitimacy is going on Good Morning America?
Well, okay. I mean, obviously, okay. No, you're right. Obviously, it's going to be Good Morning Australia, but I mean,
Is that real? That would be awesome, but I don't think they have that.
I love the Aussies, dude. The Aussie culture is great. I'm not going to do my Australia. I'm not going to do my.
It's bonzo, mate.
Yeah. Or
I found bonzo's a new word. It means awesome. So.
Bring me some stuggies and some mentals. I'm from Australia.
All the sounds are terrible, but the words, I think that actually did sound good. You said mentals
I love
well.
Australia.
Okay, well, that sounds
let's
terrible.
go down to the bush. We can go down to Bendigo.
I think you're losing the thread a little bit.
I love Australia. Yeah, no, I actually do want to go to Sydney someday and go explore the. I don't want to leave the city though, because they have like big creatures everywhere, and I don't like creatures all sizes. I don't really. Yeah. There's no creature I enjoy more than human beings, and I actually don't like any of the other ones. No. Especially the small ones like insects. I don't. Yeah. They have really big insects there. I don't like that.
It's a well-known meme. Everything in Australia is trying to kill you all the time.
Yeah, so I don't like that. But anyway, sorry, I digress. Yeah, I think that is a symbol.
That was our racist accent hour.
Being on. It's not racist. Australia is not a race, right?
It is an ethnicity.
It's like a culture.
No.
It's like a culture.
It's a culture. It's at very least a nation.
And I'm allowed to. I think I'm allowed to appropriate their culture. At least,
well, I don't think that's appropriation. I think that's you're just imitation, right?
Because I think like the Australian culture is a kind of culture where like I don't have to be born into it. Like I could, if I lived in Australia long enough. And I think, and I adopted the accent. I think I could like become an Australian.
To be frank, though, I don't think an accent is part of one's culture.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I adopted the terms and the words and the terminology, I could become an Australian, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
You can't. So it's a culture you can assimilate into.
Right.
So I think in that sense, I'm allowed to like somewhat appropriate it. It's not like some other culture where it's like you have to be born into it.
Right. Yeah. No, we could talk a lot about nationalism and what we think about the ability to between cultures and all that sorts of stuff. But my point was that I think you're being offensive on purpose, which is good. And bad.
Well, I mean, I was trying to make a joke out of their culture. Yeah, I guess maybe.
So that's sort of.
But come on,
but their accent's not their culture. It's like
joke,
complicated.
Man.
There's a lot of things there.
It's for a joke, I wasn't trying to offend any
Let's
Aussies.
Get real topical right
I wasn't
now.
trying to. Yeah. I love them. I want to go there someday.
I don't think there would be many Aussies that would be super offended by that.
I mean, for example, one great thing I can say about Australia is that their voting system is a lot better than ours.
It is.
They use first transferable vote instead of just.
Which is a far superior system.
Yeah, way better. That's the way we should be doing it.
Absolutely.
But, I mean,
could not talk about
there's a lot of reasons why we don't do it that way. But anyway,
video games are much more expensive there, so that's not great.
Yeah, but
they have bad importing, like exchange, like foreign trade laws.
Yeah, I mean, the only video games I play are free anyway, so I don't.
Well, I didn't know you were so cool.
Yeah,
and like indie.
Yeah. I play a lot of Fortnite. That's why. No.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Did you see? Oh, did I ever link you that video on Twitter?
This is some good cross promotion.
No. I just want to mention this. Did I link you that video on Twitter?
What?
Of those kids yelling, So there's this teacher. Now I'm gonna have to link it in the description of this video. But
already linking things. Exciting.
This Twitter video of the Twitter caption is share this with someone to ruin their day or whatever. But it's a video that a teacher took of like a kindergarten or a first grade class. I don't know. They look like first graders. And she's like, "Who likes Fortnite?" And all of these kids stand up and start doing the floss and start doing like the L dance, like all the dances. They start doing the dances and they're yelling, "We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite! We like Fortnite!" And I'm just like, "Oh God, no!" It just like hurts you on the inside because it's just all these kids just mindlessly doing the floss and doing their dances, and they're like, we love Fortnite.
I didn't even know the names of the dances.
I'm like, that's dude, impressive. I mean, okay.
That's some good cross promotion for a Fortnite podcast.
That is for the
You can catch it. It's called Fort Boys, Fort Ideas.
Yeah, Fort Boys.
It's on Spreaker. It's on Apple Pod. Go and get it. Go follow us.
Yeah, follow watch my stream. Subscribe to my stream.
Yeah, I'm Ninja on Twitch.
Yeah, Big Boy Phillip 29.
Yeah,
69. Obviously 69.
Wow.
On Twitch because I'm trying to be. I'm cool with the kids.
XXX Snipe Edgelord.
Yeah,
XXX.
Exactly. Yeah. Hitting those dank. I mean, honestly, sometimes I watch these streamers play, and I can tell when they're killing kids and when they're killing adults because the kids will just when they get shot, they take like 3 seconds to turn around in the middle of the street, and then they look for who shot them, and it's not even. At that point, you're not fighting someone; you're like executing them because they're just in the middle of the street, and I see Ninja just line up the shot, boom, just blows their brains out, and like what? They're not even moving. They're like. Where am I getting shot from? And it's just like it's not a fight. It's like a murder.
Tiny
you're watching a murder.
Their tiny occipital lobe haven't developed enough to be able to acquire their target as fast.
Exactly.
So then all these adults are just able to.
You're literally executing children. So I just
again, we should be less liberal with these word literal again.
I mean, you're virtually executing children. Okay. There you go. But it's still you're literally virtually executing them.
I'm very good.
But sorry, we need to go back to what we were.
Australia also has they rank very highly on one of the best places to live on many lists. They do have for happiness and like ease of.
They have universal healthcare.
That's a big plus. They their cities like Victoria are usually ranked as like one of the most beautiful places to live.
That's true.
Very calming, high quality of life there.
Absolutely. So also like I just think when I hear that accent, I can't help but think of someone as like a happier person. Whenever I hear that accent, people there, I don't know, at least from what I've seen, tend to be like, at least if you compare like our morning news shows and their morning news shows, they're much like more like they seem more happy and more upbeat about things, and they're kind of more laid back. Like they're like, yeah, it's have a good time, yeah. I like
such a good accent.
Maybe I'll hit up the hit a bar lately.
Put the shrimp on the bar.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'll kick something up later. They're really like happy, really like good. I don't know. They just maybe obviously there's unhappy Australians. I'm just saying that.
But it is interesting that it's stereotype. Like there's not like okay, let's be frank. Okay, let's be real. The default stereotype for Australia, right, is a beach blonde surfer bro, right?
Absolutely.
Who loves his brewski, loves his Fosters, right? And that
love me some Fosters.
And that there's kangaroos every couple square meters. And then everything from that one Simpsons episode about Bart goes to Australia.
I love them roos. I love the roos.
And that's not a knife. This is a spoon. I've seen you play knife with Spoonie before.
Yeah.
That's the only one I get a good accent.
Yeah, and Crocodile Dundee too. Rest his soul.
That did something either very good or very bad for Australian tourism.
I think it did something great. Yeah. I think he's awesome.
All right, so that's the default like negative stereotype, right?
But no, that was my symbol of legitimacy was getting on a morning show. Yeah, if we're on a morning show, that's
I'm not done on Australia. Let me hit that up for a minute. Okay, we'll go back to GMA in a minute.
Okay.
But Australia, I'm just saying is that's the default stereotype, right?
Right.
It's one of the few that is actually pretty positive, right? Like there's tons of positive stereotypes that are still like secretly negative.
That's
like
true.
Like Asians are very good at math, that sort of thing, which is like regardless of anything about the truth of like
Jews are good with money.
Right, yeah. So
which also just isn't true.
There's okay, that's a weird tactic.
Sorry.
No, they're terrible. They have terrible personal.
No, I'm just saying I've met Jews that are very not good with finances. So I'm just saying that
I've met not so smart Asian people, but that's not how we talk about
Russians are good at drinking. That's also not a true one. I've met plenty of Russians who suck at drinking.
My point is, before we get in even worse territory,
yes.
My point is simply that Australians, like, the stereotype is that they're very happy.
Yes.
Right? Which, of the things, right? That's a very good one.
I think that's a good one.
If you think of all the Australian ones, most of them are relating to, like, their country and the terrible fires and, like, things that are there. But the people are just, like, eternally happy.
I'd rather Russians be known for being happy than being alcoholics. So that's certainly...
Russia has, like, the exact opposite one.
Yeah,
everyone's where, like, the only thing that
happy.
kills you is not the environment, but it's the snow and the people. The people are more likely to kill you than the terrible winters. Yeah. And it's depressing all the time.
Yeah, there's this, like, stereotype of Russians, like, not being... They're okay with dying because they live life from the beginning at such a bottom misery state that like even like a minimal thing. I mean, that's why like every Russian writer ever was just depressed and like had to think very carefully about like that's why like all these Russian writers especially like have to grapple with like happiness and religion and the meaning of life because they live in such a miserable place.
Existential angst is the currency of the realm.
Yes.
In Russia.
Yeah, that's why Tolstoy was like, I don't, honestly, my family and my writing, I don't even know if I love them. because I honestly don't know if I love anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, wow.
Yeah,
I don't know if you mentioned Philip is very Russian. I'm sure I mentioned that.
Sorry, but I'm just saying. Yeah, you're right. Like I think that's a good stereotype rather than like a negative one. Yeah, they're happy.
Yeah, it's clear. There's lots of stuff there.
I think it can do negative stuff to like the perception because obviously they have their own problems and their own set of things that they deal with and their own unhappinesses. But I'd rather be known as happy than be known as sad, you know?
There's, and then a Betterhelp probably there's less business there, you know, because they're all solid.
Probably, yeah. They're all probably, I'm sure Australia has no mental problems at all. Everyone there is completely stable.
Of fact. Yes.
Completely stable, yeah.
So I'm going to go there and ruin their average.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Good Morning America, you were saying something about why that was your default.
Well, like that's how you know that we've made it. That's how you know if
is
we're
that the
on,
most like mainstream
if
show?
We're on Good Morning America. I'm wearing my blazer. You know, you're wearing your smart shoes, and we're on there, and we're like, oh hey, this is our podcast, and we're big boys, and we love big ideas, and I just think that's like that's how you know. They're like oh that's really interesting, yeah. So tell us more about the podcast, and that's how you know that we've like made it into the mainstream. Yeah. Because at that point, right after we get out of there, I'm calling my agent and we are hiring an editor. That's that's how you know we've made it, right?
Yeah, I think we'd have to hire. Well, not.
Well, I mean,
hire,
actually,
talk to someone.
What's really going to happen is the minute we get out of that interview, Betterhelp is going to call us up and be like, "We'd love to sponsor the podcast," and you know that I'm going to say through my teeth, I'm going to say, and that sounds like a great idea. We would love to talk about that, and then the next episode. Betterhelp, and I'm gonna delete this one from YouTube immediately.
Or their call would be like, "We'd love to sue you." Like,
we would love to sue you. And I'd be like, "I think we can really work something out. I think we can really work."
Actually, can we sponsor your show? We'd love to just eat crap in front of you and just deny everything we said for money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We really appreciate that. We have no integrity. Okay. So that was everything about Good Morning America? No other comments? We don't need to talk about them anymore. They have such a small impact in my life.
That's surprised true. I've never seen an entire episode of that.
I only remember coffee cups from just like morning shows. Morning shows are such a weird concept. We don't even need to get in Fox and Friends territory and how they're like the three most important people in the country at the moment. We don't even need to get there.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Let's get there. Let's just say old people, okay? And TV, right?
Actually,
it's just a terrible relationship.
Can we be serious? I would love to.
Being serious.
Okay, no, not serious though. This is my game plan. Okay. Instead of getting on GMA, we get on Fox and Friends. Okay. We make sure that we like start to like have like a little bit of a right leaning. Like maybe here's what we do. We do this secret tactic where you portray yourself as like you're like a progressive, right? And then I portray myself as like I'm a reactionary, I'm a right winger, I'm a super Trumper, right? And we get on. We get on Fox. No, this is my game. This is my game plan.
Super Trumper is an amazing phrase.
Yeah, I'm a super Trumper. We get
like Super Trooper.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a super Trumper because a lot of these super trooper Trumpers would absolutely become super troopers in Trump's Space Force, right?
Okay,
so I'm a super Trumper, and we get on Fox and Friends, right? And we get on there with the ruse of like, we disagree politically, but we're friends because we care about the discourse and because we care, we care about bridging political boundaries. And then immediately when they're like, when they're like, okay, and then blah blah blah, and when I know that I have a moment, I'm like, all right, listen, Trump, you have to start. Like I just start talking directly to him because I know he's watching.
They're gonna cut me off.
Yeah, you have to listen to me. The launch codes, everything, it's fake. We're in a simulation. You have to wake up, and I'm just like, immediately I'm just like, yeah, you have to break the code, break the conditioning, I'm just like, I start talking to him directly. That's my game plan, was to get to Fox and Friends and to say, and they're like,
you just be like, cellar door, Manchester candidate 78752.
Yeah, exactly. Activate the conditioning, Sergeant Blueberry Pie, and he just like out of nowhere, he just like Sean Hannity comes out and just fucking tackles me, and I'm just like, you just hear gunshots in the background. I'm like just knifing Sean Hannity. I'm fighting off.
You would get 7 seconds. You would get 7 seconds on air before they cut you
absolutely.
off. That would be.
I can't wait. And then Trump's gonna and they cut the broadcast, and all he sees is the "we'll be right back," and he's
hang
like,
in there,
he's like, oh my god, I think he was talking to me. I'm not sure, but I think he was talking to me.
He'd just be like that Russian agent. I feel very confident now.
And I trust the Russians, so I think I have to trust him on this one. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not a sleeper agent, though, and nothing's awoken in me, so... where's my Diet Coke? Melania, bring me another Diet Coke.
That stereotype needs a bit of work. That accent,
I think
but
I think that's a good impression. I think that's a good.
It was. I mean, like a caricature.
Okay. Obviously it's a caricature. I would do. I don't care about being. That I mean, look, being like the Australian accent, I kind of care about that one. Sure. I really don't care about appropriating Trump.
No.
It's that one. That's one that I don't care about.
It's just that it's so passé. You know, it's like not. It's like so passé is the thing.
That's true.
It's like my cartoon president and all this sort of like low grade satirical BS.
Well, I mean,
if you want to get really into the media,
I mean, I wanted to make sure that the viewer knows that I was playing the character. It's like otherwise
they weren't confused that you were saying. Yeah,
I wanted to make sure they know that it's Trump talking, not me.
I think they figured it out. Okay, I think we should be okay now. Yeah,
that's our game plan though. Is we get on Fox and Friends, and I speak straight to Trump.
Absolutely,
and absolutely nothing gets done. And
I'm sure he's listening to this podcast right now. In like 3 years when he's going back to the archives.
Well, he's one of our 5 viewers.
Yes, absolutely.
He's one of our 5 viewers.
I'm very proud of you. Thank you for listening so far in, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Trump.
Yeah,
really, I do. Thank you.
Thank you for. I tried to come up with a joke for like 2 years of like a good thing you could have done, like really genuine, and then I earnestly couldn't think of something for like 5 seconds. So that was kind of worrying.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, well, let's just
do that last interview question.
Yeah, before we get in even more trouble. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about trouble. My middle name is Trouble. So
along with Fyodor and Dostoevsky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's. So this last question. All right, we're gonna end here. This is a meaty, heavy one. Number 6 on this list. If you could be any animal in the world, what animal would you be and why? Okay, so...
Oh my god. You have to be kidding me, man. Each one of these, like, gets progressively, like, worse. I don't know how they could... Okay.
This is the most default second grader, like, icebreaker that is possible. And I say this as someone who, like, I recently used this, like, in a group of friends as, like... But like, purposely, like, meta-funny about how terrible it was. Just to get them talking, right? Yeah. But this is, like, the default, like, second grade, terrible... icebreaker question.
I don't even know.
I'm a monkey. I'm a cheetah. I'm a dog.
I don't even know. Like, this is like I'm having like an existential crisis right now. I don't even know which animal to pick.
There's a bunch of them.
I don't really like any of them. I don't like. Can I just pick person, human? Like I'd rather not.
That's legit. When we did this thing, that's what I said. I said I'm a human animal.
Yeah, I'm like I don't
because I'm
I'm the political social animal. I don't want to. Like, can I not? Yeah, I don't really want to pick something else. But honestly, though, if I had to pick,
you gotta put NY though.
If I had to pick which animal would you be?
Yeah,
I would absolutely be a pangolin. Do you know what a pangolin is? Have you ever seen these?
Oh yeah, dude, I literally saw a GIF on pangolin.
Yeah, a pangolin. I saw this GIF on Reddit. Yeah, where he's like tearing apart a wall.
Oh yeah,
dude, that was.
He looks like a freaking like a horn.
Can you believe those
iron
things?
serpent?
Can you believe those things? Those things have existed for like thousands of years.
Yeah,
dude, imagine what early people thought when these things would just go up to their house and just tear apart their walls and just like this little tiny thing is just like just breaking apart shit. And I'm like, dude. That is like crazy.
Yeah.
I am not getting near that thing. That thing's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that carapace it has, it's probably just immune to bullets. Like, the bullets probably just bounce right off of it.
Made of adamantium?
Yeah, you probably just shoot it and the bullet goes right back at you and kills you. Like,
can you imagine being like...
Like, think about that. Before we even invented bullets, they're already immune to them. Like, that's like... Pangolins are crazy. I would love to be a pangolin. And also, that's a great answer to that question because they'd be like, "Oh, what's a pangolin? I've never heard of pangolin. What's that?" And
like,
then
you show them
the GIF on your phone. They're like, "Oh wow, that's
a good
that's
answer.
really impressive." And then it also impresses them, like, "Wow, he can find information about things I don't know about very quickly
and explain it very well."
Yeah,
that's an interesting answer, and it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a little upset you have a good answer. That's good.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. But can you imagine being like a Cantonese, like a farmer in like the year 300 like BC, and you find this straight up iron serpent roiling around in your yard, tearing apart. You're like,
just ripping everything to shreds
with its
little tiny hands. It has tiny little hands, and it's just just tearing through the ground.
Through iron.
Yeah, you're like, that's magic. Stone. That's magic. You there's no reason you wouldn't think that's magic. You're like, that's a dragon.
Animals are terrifying. Honestly. Have you seen those early pictures of like giraffes? Like when people just
saw
them, like 1400s, like 1300s, like.
Yeah, I don't know what I would even think.
And by people, I mean Europeans.
Yeah, I'd be like, that thing is like 12 feet tall. Like, I am not gonna get.
They look like straight up aliens. And like,
you'd be like, I'm just not gonna get near that thing.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay in the opposite direction of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that moment where you're looking at plants, like you see one, and you just think like, this is an alien species, like plants, or like that is such a remarkably weird thing to exist here on this planet, on this earth.
Absolutely.
It's like no wonder we can just take like pictures of like New Zealand,
but
and
see,
just be
plants,
like, this is Lord of the Rings world.
Plants, we were like I think less afraid of because like we figured out which plants get us high like right away. That's like we figured that one out right away.
Yeah.
Like we were like okay. Here's what probably happened. We found like a mushroom or something that got us high, and we were like, wow, that like some of us were probably like, yeah, I mean, I can go without that, and then there's some other ones who are like, that felt awesome, and it's way better than this miserable thing I'm doing right now, which is not being on that. So I'm just gonna start smoking all this stuff, and I'm gonna figure out which of it kills me and which of it doesn't, and makes me feel like that. And we just did that right away. That was like the first science experiment ever. It was just systematically go through every green looking thing I can, burn it, inhale it, and figure out like. So we figured out that one pretty quickly. We're not going to do the same for animals though, because we were like, well, can't burn the pangolin because I'm pretty sure it's also immune to fire too. So.
Well, there's something pretty close. Like it's a pretty common meme nowadays to talk about like how crazy was the first person to just look at a cow and be like, I'm gonna drink out of their udders, that sort of thing, which is weird. But
that's I don't know that's how that works.
But we're an extra level beyond that. We don't just need to talk about that. We can talk about the next level, which is just like the amount of people who just ate every single like berry and leaf they came upon and just lit it on fire and stuffed it and teared it, and took it and put it on every orifice, on every burn and wound, just to find out which ones were good and which ones were bad.
That's true.
Every ancient scientist, every ancient philosopher who just tried to be like, oh, this stone looks like the shape of a liver, so I'm going to put it in this person, and it's like maybe it'll help them because shapes and forms, could help. That's the birth of medicine.
It's like circular,
and so
maybe
it's just insane. We put out, from Big Boys Big Ideas, put out a big thanks to all you ancient philosophers and ancient scientists.
I'm giving a big ups to my boy Stottle,
and I'm putting
thanks,
downs.
Stottle.
Big downs.
Yeah, big downs to my big downs.
Hey,
huge downs to my boy Aristotle. Big Stodlio.
Yeah.
Big Stodlio for just like discovering half of what we know. So thanks for that. Really great that you like just dedicated your life to like every single ology and science that we have today. To like, I mean, half the stuff you got was wrong. You didn't get it right, but it was great. It's like helpful that you like went around and you're just like, all these plants, I'm gonna give them names and like figure them out and like categorize them. Really helpful. Really appreciate that. Atlantis ended up not being real, so
just FYI.
Yeah, sorry about that one.
Yeah.
And also like the whole thing with like your cosmology also doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense nowadays. So.
But it was
and the stuff on slaves and the stuff on women.
Hugely influential,
but
there's only so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not holding that against you, right? I think all the stuff I think the good outweighs the bad. At the time, I think it was I think overall good contribution, big downs to my boy Stottle.
Yeah.
So
after our daily prayer to Aristotle, thank you. All hail be. I think I'm a penguin.
Absolutely. That's a good. I think that's the best answer to that question.
The only other best answer, jellyfish.
Well, also you can be like, sir, I would be a pangolin because I will tear through any roadblocks we have in my work. I will rip through them like a
that is what they're asking.
You show them the GIF wall. You're like, you see what he's doing to that wall? Mm-hmm. I will do that to our problems. I will make your problems go away, sir. You have a old ex-wife that's coming up and saying that you had a kid with her. I will tear through that problem.
Customer dissatisfaction. Yeah. I will dismantle it.
I will destroy it, just like that pangolin is destroying that wall.
And just like I destroyed our marriage.
Yeah, I will. My marriage. I pangolin the shit out of that marriage. I will do the same for this company. I will kill for this company, sir. I will kill. I have killed before, and I will do it again for this company, sir. Please. And it just immediately he's like, I think we need to hire this guy. I think he's a good choice.
Jellyfish are cool because like they don't even have brains. They're just like mostly 98% water, and then just like barely a nervous system. And they're just like tiny little things that move around. They're just like basically fungi.
That's a low testosterone answer though. If you say jellyfish, they're like
yeah, that's pretty. Yeah.
Because pangolins are it's like pangolin is like that meme. It's like the virgin jellyfish versus Chad pangolin. Like
no. But no, you could say like I'm a jellyfish because my work practices are transparent. Oh, and yes. I'm a team player. Okay, I mean, actually, that's true. That's okay. Actually, I think you might have me beat on that one because I think they might hear the jellyfish one. They might think this is an intellectual. We're dealing with an intellectual here. Yes, I would love to be a default hashtag intellectual. So.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're at an hour. You wanna?
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Hope you learned a lot.
Send us some emails at insert email here.
Actually, we do have an email, but I don't know if I should share that.
It's whatever. Leave us comments.
Comments. Leave us comments. I will look at those because right now we're in that great heyday phase where it's like I can actually read the comments because there'll be like two of them.
Yeah. So you will have outsized importance on the rest of the show.
Absolutely.
Honestly, if you get engaged and like tell us things.
Yeah.
Besides that, just write a letter, put it in any mailbox you see, and it will get to us.
Yeah, it will. It'll find its way to us. That's how that works. Yeah.
All right. Have some sweet dreams, little puppers. Bless you, bless up, bless down.
Yep. Bless, yeah. Well, down and up, same thing. So I'm going to bless downwards.
I'm going to bless up.
Yeah. So that's similar to the picture of that. I forgot who painted it, but it's like of the Academy at Athens, and Plato's pointing up and Aristotle's pointing down.
Oh, so really?
You're blessing up and I'm blessing down.
Got our own points forward, go backwards and forwards in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
So cool. That's a wrap. See you later.
Bounce out.